In this episode of Highlight Sundays, we are once again packed with a lot of points, so let's get that intro rolling. Hello and welcome back to Highlight Sundays. It is the 31st week of 2012, and here are your highlights. We start off our episode with our PSAs. This week we have not one, not two, but three PSAs that I have to get out to you. First, this article by Engadget shows that point of sales terminals in the UK can actually be compromised if one uses a card that has some malicious code on it. According to the article, what has been done so far is that they actually have managed to zap the card on a POS terminal and turn it into some sort of a game machine. If one is actually able to inject code like that, then people can inject any form of malicious code, including those that steal your credit card details. This is of course quite a bit of a problem, so yes, keep your eyes out. There is always a little bit of risk when using POS terminals. If you're uncertain, use cash. Just kidding, but seriously. Our next PSA concerns games. Now, if you've been playing certain titles from Ubisoft, take note that one of their digital rights management programs called Uplay has actually recently been exposed to be a rootkit. Now, there has been some amount of debate as to, well, what this actually is, but the general consensus is that it is some kind of a rootkit or a backdoor. Either way, your system may be compromised if you play certain Ubisoft games. This includes popular titles like the Assassin's Creed series, as well as the Tom Clancy series. I'll give you a link in the video description to this page that details this problem, has a list of all the games that are affected, as well as a little code to test to see if you are infected. As mentioned in the article, this also reminds us of an earlier incident by Sony. Now if you remember, at one point of time, Sony BMG actually released CDs that have this bit of DRM software inside. When people played the CDs from their computers, it actually installed a rootkit into their PC. This has actually resulted in Sony doing a product recall. So this sort of things are actually pretty serious. I hope Ubisoft actually takes action to at least address the problem and hopefully prevent abuse of their system. Our third PSA item this week actually involves me as well. While normally I can actually report on these from the sidelines, this next incident has unfortunately involved me in it as well. You see, what happened was, the company Dropbox actually had some of its files compromised. A list of the email addresses of all the users has been leaked. So if you're a Dropbox user and you've ended up receiving extra spam emails in this couple of weeks, you know the cause. It's because Dropbox accidentally dropped a little bit more than boxes. Wow, I'm gonna go shoot myself. But yes, you get the idea. Now according to Dropbox, nothing other than email addresses were compromised. Your passwords and your accounts are still safe. According to my time here, I've already spent about 7 minutes and I've only covered the first 3 points. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blaze through the remaining points like so. First, if you remember a couple of episodes back, I actually mentioned the OUYA console. Well, good news for fans of OUYA. Popular game company Square Enix has actually partnered up with OUYA. In case you don't know, Square Enix are the people who created the Final Fantasy series. Now that OUYA has this backing, I believe that financially and conceptually, this console will rise to pretty great heights. Next, let's talk about cameras. Check out this article on Engadget. One of the Engadget writers wrote a review on 8K footage. You see, what happened is that BBC has actually brought all of the world's 8K cameras, all 3 of them, to the Olympics. What they've done is they've done a very nice broadcast at 8K, 60 frames per second, to a theater. So you can read about the experience of watching live 8K footage. There are some insights in that article with regard to how camera work has to change to actually reflect 8K footage. So yes, that article is pretty insightful. As always, link is in the description. Speaking of cameras, you remember the GoPro cameras? They are a very popular rugged sports camera. But I'm not here to talk about GoPros, I'm here to talk about the Mophie's Outride. What is that, you ask? Well, it is a tough casing for your iPhone. You sort of turn your iPhone into a GoPro, and theoretically it can be used to film extreme sports and that sort of stuff without fear for damage to your phone. Last I checked, it is $130, but it seems a pretty interesting idea. Speaking of iPhones, you know that Apple has been in a number of lawsuits recently with other phone manufacturers, but what they've done to argue one of their cases is pretty interesting. You see, what they've done is that they've actually gotten one of the designers. This guy went into court and actually gave a little bit of history regarding how they came up with the entire device, as well as its design and its look. What is more interesting is that we as the public finally get a behind the scenes view of how they came up with their products. Once again, link is in the video description. Hop over to see some prototype photos and read some of the things they have to say about the design process. And then speaking of phones, wow, I'm really nailing this segues. And as you know, Google is very open about their development stuff. So what they have is a blog to sort of detail their programming progress with regard to their various pieces of software. Now what I believe is that they have one blog for all their various softwares, but what they've recently done is that they have spun off the Android development post to a completely new blog. Now for me, the only Google product I really use is of course the Android OS on my phone. So this move is quite welcome for me. I no longer have to dig through a whole lot of posts just to find the relevant ones. So link to the coverage on this as well as the actual blog URL can be found in the video description. Wow, that was record time. Now I actually have two more things to share with you, and these are our usual vlog content. First of all is, if you've gotten a hint from the Wednesday video, you'll know that I've actually created a new guitar cover for my friend Eugene. It has currently already been uploaded to his channel, so hop over to his channel. I will put an annotation link on screen as well as a link in the video description. So please do hop over to his video and show some love. The last item I have for you today is regarding my personal scheduling issues. Now as you are undoubtedly aware, basically all the videos I made this week were pretty slipshod. First of all, I apologize for that. There were quite a lot of things to do this week. I sort of did not expect to suddenly be covered by so many things to do. So here's the deal. I would like to take a little break next week. So I'm afraid there will be no videos next week. Now I'm not promising anything, but I may throw together a shortened version of Highlight Sundays just for fun. But we shall see about that. Now another thing I wanted to mention on this point is that after my 1 week hiatus, we will go into the format that I discussed before. That is, instead of having 3 videos a week, I'm afraid I will have to adjust it to 2 videos per week. Hopefully this will make it easier for me to juggle my various commitments. And if one day I decide that, well, I'm able to pick up the old pace again, I will definitely return to doing 3 videos a week. At least definitely during my holidays, I will try my best to return to full speed. But once again, that is a little bit too far in the future for me to be talking about. But yes, that's all there is for today's episode of Highlight Sundays. As always, if you have any comments, queries or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate every like, favorite and subscription you give me. But until next time, thanks so much for watching. You're watching Highlight Sundays on 0612 TV.